Yes, welcome back to another edition of Premier League Overtime. You're here with my good self Sam Tugwell alongside me after a week off. He's back and rejuvenated and ready to go. Of course, my co-host Doug McDonald-Taylor. How was the bye week, mate?
Not so good. I miss my Premier League Overtime family, Sam, so it's very nice to be back.
Of course it is. This week we're going to have a very big guest on the show, but that's okay. We've replaced it with another very big guest. Don't laugh, because we have got a superstar who is doing some very fine things down at Morphett Vale at the moment for the Southern Tigers. I'm talking about the lady to our left, Mollie McKendrick. Great to have you on the show, mate.
Thanks, guys. Good to be here. A bit of a late caller, but happy to be here anyway.
It's fantastic to have you here. We'll have a chat to you in a moment about a whole bunch of stuff. But first, we better look at the round 14 results, because everyone wants to see who's got some wins on the weekend. And Mollie's girls doing a very fine job down at Wayville. Southern just making some very light work of the Eagles there, as well as the men's too, just destroying Forestville. And we'll chat about those games very shortly. The Mavs couldn't take down the Lions in the men's, however their women were able to deny Centrals of their first season win, getting up by 2 points in that one. And then West were also very good, cleaning up with a pair of 18-point wins in both the men's and women's. But firstly, we better look at the North and Norwood games, Dougie, because these were very interesting indeed. Jess Good and Cara Annetts, if I can get the name right there, both had a couple of large double-doubles in that one against the Rockets, helping the Flames to a 6-point win in the women's there. Now look, that's a 3-game lead for the Norwood Flames at the top of the ladder. They're doing a lot of things and basically flexing their muscles a lot like last year. There's a lot to like about this team.
Yeah, there is, Sam, and North will be a little bit disappointed with that. They would have gone in there, no Steph Talbot for the Flames, so they would have liked their chances to grab this one and close the gap on the leading Norwood Flames, but it wasn't to be. It's now a 3-game gap, and it looks like Norwood's probably sealed the minor premiership there. But like you said, Good and Annetts probably the best for Norwood. Actually, Annetts is having a fantastic year. She's really consistent. She's averaging 13 points and almost 7 boards. So she's doing her part in what is a star-studded lineup. But also, I've got to mention my old mate, 2-time Halls medalist Jess Marnie is suiting up for them. Now, this is her second game for them this year. I didn't know. Did you know that she was playing for them?
Yeah, I caught up with her a couple of weeks ago, and she told me that she was playing for them this season. So yeah, I kind of expected it, but it's a huge addition for that team. Of course, having Jess out, with Jess Foley out for the season is a big loss for them, and with Taylor going over to college as well. So having Jess Marnie slot into that group kind of really bolsters that already star-studded team. So I think it's a great addition for them, but good to see Jess playing. She's a great player and another addition to the league. So
yeah, she's a great player. And sorry, man, I cut you off there.
No, I was just going to ask you very quickly, because I know your team is the only team in the last year or so that has actually been able to beat them. I guess I've got to ask you, how did you do it? What is it about this Norwood team that's so hard to get on top of them with? And I mean, were there some little things that you guys were able to do that maybe exposed some weaknesses?
Yeah, absolutely. I think we played a bit of a team game. Norwood's one of those teams where I'd say they've got a solid group. If Jess Good's not having a great night, then, as you said, Cara can step up, and now you've got Jess Marnie and, Marissa Stabile in that group. They're just a solid team. They've played together for a long time and they know how to win. We did have the privilege of playing against them without their Talbot and Good. So, that's going to be a different game when we match up against them. But I think we ran the game well. We ran in transition. We looked to push the ball. We stuck together as a team, and I think we hit some tough shots down the stretch that really helped us out. I think we're a similar team that we've got a good core group that can really test teams. So, I think it's a tough matchup for us, but definitely going into the next time we play them, we'll have a bit of confidence knowing that, we can beat them. So.
The men's also very good for Norwood. They got the job done in the men's over the North Adelaide Rockets. 12-point victors in that one. Daniel Webber, Ian O'Boyle, very classy as always. Certainly enjoyed themselves.
Yeah, that's another good win for the Norwood boys. Like you said, O'Boyle off the bench for 21 points. He's done that a few times this year, coming in and hitting some threes and creating some havoc off the bench for them. Daniel Webber, 17 points and 13 boards, probably his best game of the year. Look, Big Pike, he was enjoying Jacob Holmes not playing, so he's come up with 16 points. Cody Rohrer, 18 points as well, probably led the way for North, but they're struggling a bit at the moment, and they took it up to the Flames, but just a bit short, a little bit down on personnel, and the Flames keep rolling on, looking good.
They're certainly doing very good things, and just hiding in the shadows of the Southern Tigers as well in second place on the ladder, but I think three losses for the season there for Norwood. So they're doing remarkable stuff and will probably go deep in the finals again, you would expect this season. Let's head on over to Pasadena, where the Sturt Sabres took on the Woodville Warriors. Some interesting games here. The Sturt Sabres actually a very good win, of course, over Woodville. I guess you would have expected this one to go the Sabres' way, but it was an interesting first half because the Warriors really did give it to them, and it was quite a close game. The Warriors led for a majority of the first half, but the second half only put up 17 points. And at the end of the day, a second half with 17 points is not good enough.
No, and six points in the third quarter. It's unfortunately this has happened a bit too much for the Woodville girls this year, and this was, we sort of counted them out this season a couple of weeks ago. This was definitely their last ditch effort. Sturt, a little bit above them on the ladder. They needed to get this one. They didn't get it done. Once again, they were pretty good defensively. Kept Sturt at 60, which is pretty good. But Jay Johnson got away from him with 23 to lead all scorers. Caroline Burgess solid again with 10 and 6. So just a little bit too much for Sturt. Sturt just outside the 5. Where do you place them? Do you think they'll end up making a run for it, or?
Yeah, definitely. I think they're one of those teams that, get them on their good day and they can be a really tough team to beat. As you said, Jay can shoot, and I think they've got a really solid team that, they can test anyone. Woodville's a really good team as well, and so I was interested to see how that matchup went. But, I definitely think Sturt can push it into the finals and really test teams if their outside shooting is on. So
it'll be very interesting indeed if they do make it. So we're looking forward to seeing how they play in the second half of the season at the Sabres. We'll cross to the men's game, and look at this. The Warriors have been phenomenal all season, but the Sabres certainly did shock a few, I guess, with a big win against the Woodville side, and not just a regular win, a blowout win to some extent. Now, it's 5 wins now from their last 6, Sturt, essentially building a really good case for why they could just be the real deal this season, Doug. Things fell wayside in the third quarter for Woodville, 31-14 Sabres way, eventually coming out 19-point winners. But I'm intrigued to know, do you really think the Sturt Sabres, now that they've got that addition of Daniel Johnson, could just go the whole way?
Oh, they're definitely in the mix, Sam. I think, we've been talking about the 3 big clubs up the top of the table all year, but Sturt have made that 4 now, and they just know they've knocked off Woodville, who have, they've beaten a couple of big sides this year, and they've only lost a couple. So, but I think especially, Daniel Johnson coming in is obviously huge, 29 points, 11 boards, and he's going to make them a championship contender. But when you have Isaac White coming in with 20 points, that's the key. They still need their young guys to play well. You can't just rely on Johnson coming in, and they just need different contributors each week to step up and help Johnson. And there's no reason why they'll probably knock off a few more bigger teams on the way, and they'll definitely make finals. And they're now probably got their eyes set on a double chance, which they probably weren't doing that probably 3 or 4 games ago. So yeah, Sturt are the real deal, and the top 3 teams will definitely have their eye on them for sure.
As you mentioned, Isaac White, our good friend who was on the show a few weeks back, he did put in 20 points, and that, I guess, is the freedom that they're starting to have because they've got that extra ingredient. I've done a little bit of digging during the week, and here's the sort of effect that the addition of Daniel Johnson has had on that Sturt team. They were 1-4 against top 5 teams in the first 11 rounds of the year. That's not a great number that you want to have. I guess you can go 6-0 against the bottom 5 teams, but you want to be beating the top teams to be competitive, especially when it comes finals time. But the last 3 rounds, they've just gone and won, 2-1 in the last 3 rounds against top 5 teams. Johnson's already hit 50 points. That sort of contribution is massive for a team, especially when they want to be playing finals, and you don't want to just go to finals and get there and not do anything. You want to make an impact, and I guess this added ingredient, this addition to that team, allows the rest of the team to open up and play their own game because I guess the defence is a lot more worried about that single player. Yeah,
definitely. And look, they've had a really good year up to this point, but going 6-0 against the bottom sides is great. They haven't let any of the teams below them come up and snatch a win, which is important when you want to make finals. But then when you want to go to that next step to get into the top 3 and get double chance and really challenge for the championship, that's when you have to start beating the bigger teams, and that's what they're doing now. And look, Johnson coming in, it's going to be a tough matchup for every team out there. So they are a championship contender, absolutely.
We can't wait to see how that goes. We're going to quickly look now at Mollie's game on the weekend because this was a good one. The Southern Tigers beating the Forestville Eagles 68-51. a very nice win in the end. Mollie, you had 21 points. You were very good, as well as Danelle Fawcett. She also had 21 points. Double-doubles as well, with a few boards by your name too. How'd you enjoy that?
Yeah, it was a good win. I thought it was a really good team win, actually. I think everyone contributed and did their part. I thought Tara Robinson did a great job, and Olivia Thompson, and really pushed her to make and take tough shots. And I think it was a really good team game. And again, I think I got a lot of points just from great assists, from some great passes from the team, and really setting me up in good positions. So it was a good win for us.
It's funny because you guys are second, the girls are second on the ladder. I guess no one at the start of the season would have picked this. Do you think there's some sort of chemistry in the group now with the amount of the good players that you got and the good skill, and I guess even the fact that the team's been playing together for a while as well helps you girls go further?
Yeah, absolutely. I think we've got a great core group. We really push each other at training, and we do those extra things to be better. And I think, again, we're one of those teams that we're hard to scout because we do have multiple players that can contribute. And we've got an experienced group. Tara's been in the league for a while, and along with, Lauren and Kelsey, and Teray is another great addition this year as well. And she's been a great supporter in the group, both offensively and defensively. So I definitely think we're a tough team, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how we can go in finals this year.
The finals is something you got to play in last year with the South Tide, but you've headed on over to the Southern Tigers. There's a switch that I guess we didn't really see coming. What was the reason behind that?
Oh, straight into the tough questions.
Might as well.
We don't hold back down over time.
Yeah, deep, the hard questions. No, look, I was really lucky to have the experience with South last year and be under Vicky and be with those girls. They're a great bunch of girls, and it was a great experience. And it just happened that where the club was going and where Southern was going as a club, I just wanted to be a part of. They're really looking to do a community-based and really get involved with their juniors, and that's something I'm really strong and passionate about. So having that opportunity was something that definitely drew me across. And losing Jess Marnie to that group was going to be tough, and I loved playing with Jess. So there's a couple of factors, but there was no cold blood in it at all. It was just the community aspect that I really wanted to seek, and so I made the switch.
Just before I was about to throw to Doug, you did mention community sort of environment. That's what Southern have brought, and not saying the other clubs don't, but I think they definitely do it very, very, very well down there at Morphett Vale. Do you think that's one of the main things to why this club is now so strong, because they've got such an amazing environment which they're building?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's definitely part of it. Their junior program probably hasn't been as strong in the last couple of years, but I think Dean's doing a really good job down there of building up their core group of coaches and players. It's really good to go out to the Premier League games and you've got a great support from the Southern Tigers community and even out during their games. It's good some of us can get out to their games, watch them play and get involved as well. So I think it's a great community environment. I think it's why we've been able to be successful on and off the court this year, and I think it's a really positive step forward for the club, and I think Mick's doing a really good job down there of creating that culture, and I think it can only do great things for the club.
It's terrific, isn't it, Doug?
Yeah, it's great to see such a presence down at Tigerland. We haven't had it in men's or women's for a number of years, and so it's great for the league. And what about in the sanctum of the group? You've beaten Norwood, you've beaten the Eagles, you've beaten Sturt. Did you beat North?
No, that's
lost twice to North,
that's a
but
tough one.
the last one was a very close encounter.
Yeah.
So that's got to give you a lot of confidence in a belief going into finals. Look, winning the title, is it something that you guys as a group talk about, or are you just sort of week by week?
Yeah, absolutely. It's one of those things that we definitely take week by week. I think a lot of teams in the league can test you, as you've seen with someone like West this week. They pulled off a win that you probably wouldn't expect. So I think you've got to take each week as it comes and just get into the best position leading into finals. That being said, I don't think we've played our best basketball yet. We're still getting used to each other, still looking for options out of our offense and the reads we can make defensively. So I think our best is yet to come, but I definitely think that we have a goal of just winning, and that's each week. And then once finals hits, that'll stay the same, that each week we move on, we just want to win and keep progressing through. So I definitely think it's a bit of an unspoken thing that we want to definitely get to that game and really see how we can go. But at the moment we're just taking it week by week and just trying to get better as a group.
I think there's still one more clash between you and North, so that may determine who might get that very important second spot on the ladder, so double chance and a home final, but we'll see there. Some time with the Lightning. Tell us a little bit about that season.
Yeah, it was an experience. It's being my first year in the WNBL and under a new coach and in a new system, it was definitely an experience. It was tough work. Trying to play and work full time is definitely not the easiest thing to do, but I loved the experience. It was a great bunch of girls and really made me a better basketballer and really tested me. Really made me extend my game and become a lot more versatile and gave me things that I really need to work on. And so, it was a great experience. And, I think it's definitely something I'd want to do again. So.
And your season this year, 23 points, Sam, a game and almost 11 boards. That is Hall's medal type statistics. You have to think Olivia Thompson and Mollie are probably the two front runners at the moment. It's probably not something you think about, but it'll be interesting come Hall's medal night, because I think Mollie's going to be definitely in the thick of it, Sam. So
strong numbers, isn't it?
Yeah, strong numbers, and obviously the move from South to Southern has been a positive one, and a year with the Lightning. You're around such a good group, and good things happening down at Southern, mate. So well done, and good. Hope it continues.
Absolutely. Well, we wish them the best down there at Southern. We'll look at the ladders, the women's first, and as you can see in second spot there, the Southern Tigers 10-4, but that is very similar to the side they're struggling to beat so far this season, North Adelaide, who are just under them with the exact same record, and the same for the Forestville Eagles, who they beat on the weekend. They've lost 2 in a row, They went from second spot now 2 rounds ago, slipping down to fourth, so in a bit of trouble there, the Eagles. They're going to need to get back up and about when they play in North Adelaide this week. And a very impressive West Adelaide, I guess you can say, in 5th place as well, because a record of 9-5, a percentage of 116, which is just as good as, of course, the Tigers and Rockets. They're only one good game really off the par, and really being in something like 3rd or 2nd place.
Yeah, look, Mollie would know better than us, but they've had a great 7 or 8 weeks, and they were sort of eighth spot not that long ago, and their record since then has been fantastic. They're pushing the really good sides, and they've knocked a couple of them off as well. So where do you see Westies? They're sort of a bit of a dark horse. Again, you've got Norwood, and then you've got the 3 teams tied for second, but then you've got Westies, and if you have to meet them in an elimination final or any final, they certainly won't be an easy beat.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think they've really started to gel. When we played them, it was a lot. It went our way the first half, and then the second half they really came out and really tested us. And so I think they're a team that can really test any team on their good nights. Their imports playing really well, and they're having contributors in their junior group as well. And I just think they're a tough team, and you can't go into that game kind of with any expectations of winning, because I think they're really going to test teams and really progress through the final. So I certainly wouldn't want to have them first match up at all.
And the Southern Tigers in the men's leading the way there as well, 13-1. They're doing some very good stuff down there.
They beat the Eagles by almost 60 on the weekend.
How about that?
You have to go through the record books to find that. I mean, the Eagles, the men's group, have been so good for so long.
Mainly due to your good self.
Yeah. No, Jason Dix had nothing to do with it. But it'd be in probably the 90s since they lost something like that. So that's just a massive win for the Southern Tigers.
Yeah, absolutely. Norwood and Woodville as well doing great stuff. Sturt just starting to push their way up. West as well at 5th spot. And look at the gap between 6 and 7. Forestville and North. 4 wins for North, 8 wins for Forestville. Just starts to show that 6th spot and up is pretty much the squad for the top 5.
Yeah, definitely. It's going to come down to Westies and Forestville for probably that last spot, but there still could be some jostling in amongst the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. So Norwood, Woodville, and Sturt will all be looking for that double chance and home final. So it looks like Southern Tigers with only 1 loss, 2 games break on Norwood will probably get the minor premiership, but still some tussling to go on in the next few weeks, Sam.
Tussles include round 15 coming up this weekend. Let's take a look at that. Norwood taking on the Central Districts at Mars. The Southern Tigers and South Adelaide at Morphett Vale. Austral Sports will be there for that one, so Mollie gets set for that. Sturt and East heading off at Pasadena. Forestville and North as well at Wayville. And this one at St Clair, Woodville and West Adelaide, Doug.
Yeah, that's a huge Western derby, Sam, especially in the men's, I reckon. Westies will want to get another win against a top side to try and cement their place in the top 5. Woodville will be looking to bounce back after their shock loss to Sturt, so I'll pick Woodville, but I think it's going to be a close one. But also touching on Woodville doing some great things for their past players at the moment. A couple of weeks ago, they retired the great Scott Whitmore's singlet, which was a great thing to do. And this week, they're retiring Cam Wilson, singlet. Now, this guy is a great ambassador for SA Basketball, and he is a great role model for young kids. He's a guy that played juniors. He's a good junior player, but he never played state. I don't even think he went out for the state teams. But he was a good player on some pretty ordinary teams through juniors. I think they only made the finals once, and that was an elimination final in under 20s, which they got knocked off out straight away. But he's gone on to play seniors. 334 games, Sam, 11 years as captain, 2 League All-Star 5s, runner-up in the Woolacott in 2005, 3 championships, 2 as captain, 7 Woodville MVPs, and he is one of the best competitors I've ever come across. He just plays every play. He's a great leader, and he's been a great player and one of the best point guards this league's ever seen. So shout out to Cam Wilson, mate. Great career, and well done for Woodville for honouring him and retiring his singlet this week.
What a remarkable player he's been, and I guess the passion he brings to the court is always outstanding, and I guess it always stands out on game night when he's out there playing for his team. So that's fantastic news, and well done to Woodville, of course, there. But I guess that is time for us to wrap up the show. Doug, you've been a star performer after your week off. Well done.
Thank you. Yes, rejuvenated. A lot of energy this week. So try and back it up next week, Sammy.
Of course. And Molly, thank you for coming along.
Thanks for coming
No
on,
worries
Molly.
at all. Thanks for having me, guys. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. We look forward to seeing you on the weekend, of course, against South Adelaide. And you can check those highlights on Austral Sports coming up in the next week. But of course, next week we'll be back as well with another edition of Austral Premier League Overtime, should I say. It's getting to the end of the show, clearly. And we'll see you next week with myself and Doug and a very special guest. Stay tuned.